Hi, Sean.
Hello, how are you
Welcome
doing?
back.
Thank you so much.
This is Chats with Colleen. I'm not sure the episode number because
Episode 4?
Episode 4. I have ADD. It's hard for me to count.
Oh, we love it. How are you doing?
Good. I'm
Good.
very good. So today we have our first guest, Aggi Hall. She's the godmother of roofing and the godmother of real estate. So we're so excited to have her join us.
Very exciting.
She drove a couple hours to get here. So
Which is so
yay.
nice. Oh my gosh.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So remember how we talked about weeks ago how I wanted to start getting back into yoga?
I do.
So
remember
I'm
that.
a little bit calmer because I did 2 like yoga style mind body classes.
Yeah.
So last week I did bar, which is like a standing with the bar work, but it's like slower. And then I did Synergy yesterday, which is like a combination of yoga and Pilates.
Oh, nice.
So I'm all stretched out and well, kind of relaxed. But
Do you go on a Pilates machine for that, or is it?
no, it's
okay.
just on the mat.
It's on the mat. Nice.
So you're just doing exercises, not with the Pilates
Yeah.
reformer.
Okay.
I've never actually done that.
I've only ever seen it on like TV.
I heard it's really hard. My mom used to do it and she loved it. So I should try it.
You should try it. Oh my god.
I think it's really hard.
Yeah. It looks difficult. It doesn't look like an easy thing, but
You're hooked up to an
you're
apparatus.
so tough though. I know you could do
I
it.
could try it. I could do it. I may need help getting in and out of the machine. But so this week I have a lot of stuff
She loves
to
stuff.
talk about. But I did work on my New Year's resolution of being more calm and taking deep breaths. Eddie kept saying all week, there's a lot of deep breathing going on over there. I'm like, breathe in
You're like,
and breathe
just
out.
breathe in, just breathe in, breathe out.
So a couple weeks ago, I had somebody called and I returned the phone call. It was like Friday. It was probably at 5 o'clock. I was like, oh, this guy always calls after 5 on a Friday.
Yeah.
No problem. Call him back. So I call back. Hi, this is Colleen. Da da da. F you. Okay. So I'm like, did I hear that? I know I have a dirty mind. Did I hear that? Hi, this is Colleen. I'm returning your call. F you, bitch.
Oh my
And
god.
click. And I was like, oh. And then I turned to Eddie and Norma. I was like, oh my God. They're like, yeah. I was like, did he say that? So then I called back and it was the same guy. And he's like, oh, hi. Who's ready to proceed. But he was the third time, like a repeat offender, like I like to call somebody who gets a policy and doesn't pay for it.
Yeah.
So I said, I can't do it until you're really ready to proceed.
But then he actually talked to you.
Yeah.
Did he think you
Same
were
number.
like a spam?
I don't know. It's somebody I've talked to, and he's very nice. So I was like,
Did you question him, or were you just?
I
Like,
didn't
"It's not worth
question.
it"?
Then I'm like,
Yeah.
did I call the wrong number? But it appeared to be the right
It
number.
was the same one. He was just like a freak, or was like on acid or some drugs, maybe.
Yeah, he sounds like he's
That's
done a little
wild.
something.
Yeah.
It's totally wild.
Of course, we're not naming names, but that's wild.
Yeah, we're not naming names. And then
I can't imagine like someone calling me, especially someone I know that I've done business with potentially, and then
you're saying
to
that.
react
So
that
I'm
way
like,
to
maybe
them,
it was
yeah.
somebody else answered his phone
Yeah.
or his other personality.
It could have been. People
So,
are crazy. Oh my god.
People are nuts. So that was that. And then I had an incident with another agent who was a little bit rough with me about one of the potential clients and her policy with a father passing away. We're not going to mention any names,
Of course,
but
of course.
as we know, it was a little bit upsetting, but hopefully we're getting that part worked out.
Yeah.
And then another incident yesterday, I went to lunch with Chris before my home buying
Your son, Chris,
seminar.
for those
My
who
lovely
don't
son,
know.
Chris.
Yes,
He's
yeah.
the best. And so when we were walking out for meeting our breakfast, lunch, whatever you want to call it, I had looked at my car before and I'm like, it looks like there's a scratch. So I was like buffing out the side of the door. And so I was like,
Your
maybe
brand new car.
Yeah, it's only a couple months old. And I was like, maybe it's just like pollen, dust, you know?
Yeah.
So then when we walk out, Chris, my son, he's like, is somebody hit your car? And I'm like, yeah, I think. And I was like, I think either somebody hit it with a door or a shopping cart. And he's like, that's a
Yeah.
shopping cart. So like I told my husband, I'm being really good. I'm parking away. I'm driving
Yeah.
slow. I'm not parking near people. I'm not hitting curbs. I'm trying to take everything really slow. But he's like, well, sometimes it's not you. It's just other people.
Unfortunately, people.
And
are
so, like I
trash.
said, I could be nasty and call my insurance company and put a claim in because that's what a lot of people would do.
It's very true.
But if we all become a little bit more like nicer to the general public and realize, like, if you have a shopping cart, put in the return. That's why they have it because
Yeah. Walk it back.
all this relates
Don't push
back,
it back.
all this relates back to insurance, like I always say, because the less claims we have, the lower the rates are going to go. No, I'm not going to put a claim in for that. I'm going to fix it, buff it out. It's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah.
The other side of the car, the same, it looks like somebody scratched it with the key.
No.
I'll show you both doors.
You're joking.
I swear to God. And it's not me. So it's like 2 months into it. And
That's terrible. I'm sorry about that. That's
It's
really
okay.
frustrating. That's a beautiful car. That's
It's
like
so
that
nice,
car
and I'm
had
like, it's like
significance,
the
like, to your
nicest.
mom and like everything.
I know
else.
the
That's just
nicest
like-
thing that I ever like bought for myself.
Oh,
For
no.
myself. So that's it. The people are still walking into the office.
We love that.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, how are you?
And
So we're like, Eddie's like, do you have a new business partner, a new owner? Apparently.
You just like whoever's
Hey,
on the
how's
floor.
it going? How was your
Yeah.
weekend? I'm like, it was fine. And then
Gosh.
Bayardo told me, this is really disgusting.
Your husband.
My husband,
Yeah.
Bayardo. He's a restaurant manager. I'm not going to say the name of the restaurant. However, you should go see him if you want to know, inquire. So he said yesterday, he didn't tell me this. So he told me this morning, he said they had a gentleman come in, older man.
Yeah.
I'm like, how old? He's like 50. I'm like, dude, you're like 2 years away from that.
Yeah,
He's
himself.
not
Yeah,
that
yeah.
old. So he was probably 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
But he came into E8 and then he started acting really weird in the chair. And then he got up to refill his drink and he said he had defecated on himself and it was like dripping down his pants.
Oh,
And he was
my
like shaking. So he
gosh.
asked him, do you need help? Do you need a medic? And then he
Yeah.
asked him to leave. And then the girls were freaking out. One of them was gagging. They had to go outside and throw up. He's like, you weren't even near it. So he had to put his mask on and his gloves
And then clean up the
and
seat,
clean it.
right?
He said he's
Yeah.
normal about seeing that in the bathroom. This is how I'm talking about being courteous.
Yeah.
How disgusting people are in the bathroom. He said we'll get on the walls and that. And like they totally
just don't
missed
care.
it. They just don't care.
No,
They're
they
like, it's
don't
not my
care.
place. But you know what?
Yeah.
Somebody works here.
And someone's gonna have to clean
And
it
someone's
up.
going to have to clean it
Yeah.
up. And so it's disgusting. I was like, oh my God.
Every like action.
But he's
you
like,
make
I
has
felt
a
like
reaction.
he said, I felt like he needed to be in like a nursing home. Like there was something not right. That's why he
Yeah.
asked if he needed help.
That was sweet of your husband.
Yeah,
though.
and it didn't bother him because, you know, when you have kids, you work in a restaurant, you have animals, you're kind of used to all that crap, but
Yeah.
it's still gross.
I think it's a little different when it comes from another human, though. I do think that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh, this girl's gagging. I'm like, is she ever going to be able to have like a baby? Because when I see those videos and I hear people doing that, I'm like, oh my, but not everybody has the stomach.
That's very true. That's very true. Oh my God, that sounds like you have had a really wild week.
Yeah.
It
And
seems.
I'm like, oh, this was interesting.
Yeah. No, you're keeping it fresh. You're keeping it fun. You're doing it. I don't know. That's life. That's unfortunate about that guy just screaming at you, just calling him. You were calling him back, right? The FU guy.
The FU. So then I was like, maybe I did dial the wrong number, but it looked like the same number. But, you know, it was hard to determine.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's only 10 digits. I feel like if you thought if it's like the
if
right
I
number,
looked
it's
at
probably
it
the
and
right
I'm like, I
number.
looked at
Yeah.
it. Did I hit the wrong thing?
I think you're just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be
and
nice.
You're such a good person.
Mm.
But unfortunately, I don't think he is.
It was a little bit much. It was a little bit shook up my little world.
Aw.
Mm-hmm. But luckily, it was at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, that makes it good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to have Aggie here so we can talk to
Yes,
her and learn about
The very first guest.
very
officially
first
from the
guest. So
podcast.
I have another guest coming up in a couple weeks, and
Yeah.
I'm already putting out ads and to do March and April.
Yeah.
So we can it needs 4 people. So
Yes.
we need 4 spots.
We need 4 spots.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever is available, we'd love to have you on. We'd love to chat. Colleen would love to chat with you.
I
We'd love
would.
to really just create a really fun dialogue, which I think on today's episode, people will get to see that, which is really exciting. And with Aggie, oh my God, she's, her knowledge of roofing and real estate it's pretty incredible. It is.
It's pretty obscene. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty well versed in it and very knowledgeable and willing to help and wants to educate.
Yeah. We love all those
Yeah.
things. Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely. Welcome. This is Colleen with Chats with Colleen, and I have a special guest today, Aggi Hall.
Hello.
I'm going to read her great intro. So Aggi is Agency Relationship Manager for Janney Roofing. She's also a licensed realtor with Bridgepoint and a real estate advisor. She is a remodeling specialist and influencer for homeowners related to roofing. And she's going to provide us some valuable tips in the roofing industry and to educate homeowners about roofing and maintenance of their roofs.
Yes.
And why it's so important for home buyers to plan to replace their roof, amongst other things.
Indeed.
So I'm so appreciative for you taking the drive out here to join us. So thank you.
I've been looking to speak with Colleen for like years now, and I was just looking for a cup of coffee, and she asked me to be on her podcast, and I almost fell out of my chair.
Are you serious? I'm
very
so
serious.
flattered. No, thank you.
Thank you.
So that's so great. So I'm glad you got to be my first live guest in person. So that's amazing. So you have two awesome titles, which I think are great.
Thank you.
So you are known as the godmother of roofing and also the godmother of real estate. So who started those and where did they come from?
You know, I got into the roofing industry by accident, and to get you the cliff notes to both names, I wanted to brand myself in the roofing industry. And I've always been like a mama hen, and I've always been someone that, also from Boston, from the notorious Mafia. Godfather was my favorite movie, and I just kind of took a spin on it. So I also love cigars. So I created the godmother of roofing from being at the 10X Growth Conference, because they encouraged to, brand yourself. And it just came about. It just kind of stuck. And I don't go around saying I'm the godmother of roofing. It's behind the scenes, kind of like the Godfather, like, who's always, behind the scenes, very quiet and taking care of things. And that's just how I've been for the last 7 years. And then I actually got the godmother of real estate because I created it. I got almost left roofing, got into real estate, and then I synergized the two because there's a lot of synergy between roofing and real estate, even when I started in roofing and then moving forward, which I will explain a little bit later.
That's awesome. And I love the fact that you're a woman in roofing.
Thank you.
Because I think I know two. I'm sure there's other construction
yep.
but there's more than that. But I feel like it's odd. And so I think it's amazing because a lot of people probably like, oh, wow. But it's really interesting.
Well, roofing is primarily male because for a female, we're brought up to, be in skirts and be pretty. And then boys are hardcore and, construction stuff. So how I, look at it is I've always been a tomboy, girly girl. And the roofing kind of was a great synergy for me because I got to bring my tomboy self. And when I got on my first roof, I almost didn't because I was so afraid. But my friend at the time told me to get up because I was broke and I needed a job. So it just worked out that way. But roofing is very fun. It's almost like, you're building, you're almost like a Nancy Drew, and you get to see the roof and give them homeowner options and almost like construct it. Like you can, help rebuild their home. You can actually make it more aesthetically beautiful and protected. So it's a lot of great. I think roofing is sexy, so I've made it sexy.
It is. And then, if I was doing that, I'm afraid of heights. Are you?
I was, but I snapped out of it.
You snapped
out of it. But to not be
you have no
of heights.
choice. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm not going up there.
But you can be OSHA compliant, with the tools and harnesses and shoes. So it's very important, and I constantly I'm mindful of that. So.
I know. And I make sure when I tell my clients, like, if you're going to check your roof to take pictures, do not get up on the roof.
No, because I've seen actually homeowners fall off the roof.
I have too. And it's like I watched my dad climb up on a ladder to do something yesterday, change a light bulb. And I was like, please, because his leg is about to give out. Get off the ladder.
My former employer, we had to shut down a production because the homeowner was adamant about being on the roof, watching the roof happen. And we were like, hey, if you want this never came up in conversation. And if you're going to be up on this roof, we're going to shut down production and we're going to end up not doing this roof. That's another story. But homeowners definitely need to be very mindful of, their safety. And also if they do plan on being in the roof with a production, have that conversation ahead of time, because you actually will vet the contractor where a legit company will not be working with you on the roof.
I am
unless you're, the GC or, a licensed contractor yourself, that's different. But a whole lot of homeowners are unaware of that. I have so many stories.
Wow. We need to do that. So you kind of covered the next question, but what put you into roofing and real estate? So we know why you got into real estate, but why did you get into roofing?
I was a homeowner and I got into roofing with all my horrible experiences. I wish I had known this information on my first hurricane disaster. It would have avoided the second one. And it was just a domino effect of horror. And, it also started with the real estate transaction where the inspector at the time said it passed inspection. A month later, I had horrible leaks happen because at the time the roof was in good shape, but it was coated to look good. So the inspector wasn't educated enough to figure that out. And then when the hurricane happened, I ended up filing a claim because my insurance advisor said not to. But at the time, I just didn't know what to do, and I just did. But when they came out, instead of just saying, hey, you have the option to either repair it or replace it because here's the options for you, it was just immediate repair. And I repaired it. But when I found out how much the repair was, I had said, wow, that's silly. I shouldn't have filed a claim because if I had known ahead of time, get an inspection. And then the next year, the repair got pulled off by hurricane. It was the one in 2018, hurricane.
Hurricane Irma.
Irma, and that's where I ended up replacing the roof. It was just all this unnecessary things that after I got into roofing, because I had to switch jobs, my employer at the time was going to jail. That's a fun story. And then I needed a job, so my best friend brought me into the roofing industry at my first employer, and here I am 7 years later. But now along the way, I just picked up all this knowledge,
learning.
And I'm just trying to share, help make homeowners make better decisions, which synergizes with real estate. If I can help homeowners with that knowledge, it just helps them make more educated decisions.
Yes, education is key to help people become successful in anything, especially home ownerships. So your presence on social media, you cover both roofing and real estate. What do you think has helped people most learn from you, or what could they learn most
I
from
think
your information?
it depends on someone's goals. If they're looking to, buy, sell, or maybe just actually stay in their home for forever. There's certain things that you can actually do now that really are so inexpensive that can prolong your home. It even just starts to like with a deep clean, deep cleaning your home and finding out what's unnecessary to have. And also, just simple things like your windows and caulking your windows, and also your roof. After a couple of years, you can have a nice soft wash. If that algae comes off, it actually prolongs the granule life. And just all these little tips I've come across that if someone asks me, I just kind of give them a few things just to cliff notes it because I could go ham on them, but I rather just ask them what their goals are. And so for me, I try to make the content fun, creative, and at least something that can spawn interest. So that's why I brought the remodel specialist into the real estate category, because now there are a lot of people are looking to sell, but the market wasn't what it was during COVID. So I get it. So if I can help them with some tips of remodeling, like maybe even, updating their internal home, maybe even doing the roof, I have sources that can help them. If they don't have the money, we can actually, the company can get paid through escrow at closing. So there's different ways of helping them, or they just sell as is. But even if they do sell as is, you can still make it presentable to get the most value for it. And I've noticed over the years, I hate to say it, not all realtors are created equal. So we've had that conversation, but I think now even the real estate industry is going through a rehaul, and have to do a little bit more work than what they've in the past. But I think that now it requires them, or should require them, to educate themselves more on basics. So I want to give them basics on roofing. I'm going to partner with plumbing and AC so we can give them more about that. If you are more knowledgeable about real estate to help your buyer or seller, it really does help them. It will make them come back to work with you again, and referrals.
And it's building trust. So that's what I say.
Yeah.
You don't have to use me today. You may not buy a policy in my business insurance, but I don't care. I want to help you. I want you to learn. So then later on, you'll come back and ask me a question, and maybe I'll be able to help you, with your insurance needs later.
That's right.
And that's referrals build business. So that's what I'm trying to find people to collaborate with.
I'm glad we're collaborating.
Yeah. So you mentioned soft washing. I have a question.
Yeah.
How often should somebody do that on their roof?
So soft wash is a very sensitive topic. As somebody could get a soft wash and have somebody pressure wash it, and I will get heartburn. So soft wash should be done by a professional that is licensed, and it's they pour the wash over the roof, and it drains down. And what that does is it kills the algae. So technically, a soft wash should last 5 years or more. Okay. But as time goes on, and depending on where you are in the world, or in Florida, There's certain trees that will cause algae growth, but now the shingles are getting better. So if you do have a newer roof, there's zinc and there's copper, that things that can help kill algae
Keep
growth
it from growing. Okay.
So, and also HOAs, some of them are more mindful to maintenance, some of them are not. When I went to sell my mother's townhouse, it looked awful. I mean, I had like a streaking on it. The HOA, I had one of the maintenance guys come out. It still looked awful. I brought it one of my guys, and they soft washed it, and it just looked amazing. So just even that aesthetic look could even change the whole outcome of your real estate. And the HOA just didn't care about having that company come in. That he ended up getting business from just being there. You know, so the other owners paid for it.
The HOA was probably just going by the cheapest.
And it's also very minimal. It's not like putting a new roof on. But I always say when you buy roofing nowadays, it's almost like pretty much like buying a car, but at the same time, it's your goals. So there are a lot of homeowners that are transient. They just maybe 2 years selling. And they flip out. So I get not buying the best quality. But you're a homeowner in there for a long time, you're kind of stuck with that roof. So I bet your contractor before anything.
Bet that, and make sure you're in the materials too.
And warranty. Yes. Make sure you call that
warranty
manufacturer and make sure you're signed up with them.
Oh boy, I think I need to do that.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice for a first-time home buyer, especially in this market with the interest rates being higher and the prices of the home being slightly higher too?
I would definitely first start with that credit and also make sure that credit is on point. If your credit is not there, your rates could be significantly altered. But as that time goes, I would start at least 2 years in advance. So that credit building, and then researching, researching not just the prices of the home, but also a factor like your utility, if you're going to have an HOA, where it's going, how much insurance is going to be. So unfortunately, it's not the realtor's job to give you all this information. We have to be mindful of steering and things like that, because we can't tell people, what they shouldn't or shouldn't buy. So with that being said, if they just, maybe even ask for the people who live in certain areas, how is it living there? You're pretty much stuck with that home, even if it is for a short term. So the more you educate yourself, how much will a roof cost? How much will AC cost? And you are prepared for that. And I just got into real estate maybe about a year or so ago. But the whole rate thing right now, when I got in, it said, marry the house, date the interest rate. I think it's horrible advice, because we have no idea if that rate's, they've started to go down, but if you think about it, like, you have to factor emergencies. If you are pretty much almost where you are maxed out at that mortgage payment, what happens if you have a medical emergency, or your roof does go, and you can't qualify for insurance to pay for it, so all these things, are happening, and you really have to, work on that little side savings. It's just, I just think more people should be buying based on their means instead of maybe going with the Joneses. And I think as time goes on, people are doing that. And it's good, and real estate comes in all shapes and sizes. It's great. You can start with regular brick and mortar, or townhouse, or condo, or now, manufactured home, or,
there's all types.
All types.
And I've seen people now who, after a couple years of being in their house, how they really can't afford it, because they bought these, upwards $500,000 and up houses. The taxes were reevaluated,
insurance.
and insurance is doubled or tripled, and they're really tight. And I'm like, well, you bought the $1 million home, buddy. I get it. So
I get it.
What did you think?
Yeah, even like when
planning
with roofing, I'll tell you, roofing is going to be the most expensive item you're going to replace. I hate to say it, and when you are a first-time roof shopper, it's
shocking.
It's shocking. It's almost as much as a car, as what people have told me. But with that goes back to, again, preparing yourself. So maybe if you bought a home, it passed inspection, is fine. Be mindful of how big that roof is, because you're buying roofing based on these squares, how big it is, and also job difficulty. You know, we don't know if there's chimney or skylights or there's gutters to be detached, reset.
And all of it takes time, and then more time, and the more they have to do, the more it costs.
Correct. So,
and then if the wood's rotted underneath, they have to replace that.
We like to do inspections, and I can't tell you, having that attic inspection has saved a lot of people thousands of dollars, because when I go up and I see piping right by the decking of the AC or the plumbing, and I'll let them know I'm not going to be doing that roof until that gets moved. Because if we go to nail the decking, I could basically burst a pipe.
And it's happened. And I've seen clients have water coming in while their roof is being done, because that's happened. And I'm like, you got to go out there and tell them. I mean, we'll put the claim in for you, but most likely they're out there redoing your roof right now. They hit a pipe because your PIX plumbing is in the ceiling or whatever.
And it's sometimes it's done not to code by accident, or maybe on purpose. But again, you know, it's a quick inspection can help avoid that. I mean, I can go on with many tips, but that's why you want to tune into my social media to get them in a little,
there you go.
A little Cliff Notes special.
Cliff Notes and helpful tips for home buyers. As an experienced real estate agent, what advice would you give to new real estate agents who are just getting their feet wet in the real estate world, and or even new roofers who are doing sales as new salesmen in the roofing industry?
For both real estate or roofing or any other industry, finding your niche is important, but at least learning all the basics to find that niche. Because when you start in real estate, you really just should be starting as an expert, commercial real estate mogul. You got to earn your way through that, especially being with a great team. So, when I went with Bridgepoint Business and Real Estate Advisors, I have a team of professionals. Like the broker is multi-licensed with so many credentials, and then he has his CPA, then he has his trusted advisors, and we have insurance advisors, we have adjusters, we have also an inspector, and we have just a whole plethora of people that are on the team. So being with any company, even roofing too, make sure the roofing company is experienced. They are been in the business for a while, at least a few years, to understand how it works, because it helps you become a better salesperson and just getting that access. And if you don't have access from either the employer, I suggest investing in yourself, getting yourself credentialed and learning as much as you can about that niche that you want to be in.
Yeah, because a mentor is what everybody needs when they're new. You need somebody to mentor you, help you, teach you, and then you can't be afraid to ask questions too.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid, because you're not going to look stupid. People are like, it's a dumb question. I know there's no question that's dumb.
And you know what? If you don't have the answer to the question, you tell them,
I'm going to find out for you.
I'm going to find out.
I say that every day. I have to find out for you. I don't know.
I got a whole team of people to help you.
Or I know somebody for that. You know, it's about having people, like you said, referrals. I want somebody that I can say, oh, you know what? I don't do that, but I know somebody that can help you. Here's her number and her name. Call her up. So.
Great advice.
Yeah. You have been present and open on social media. What would you tell somebody who might be unsure about moving to those platforms to promote their business or themselves?
That's a great question. A lot of people, when they go on social media, everyone has their own style. I used to be offended of how some men and women perceive themselves, but you know what? It's none of my business. So I suggest, if you're going to go on social media, even if you don't want to, go on there for the business, promote the business, promote yourself in the community. Keep your private life private. Everyone that I know of, knows that I'm roofing or real estate. I've had people ask me, all you post is roofing and real estate, but they'll know nothing about me privately. You won't, because I keep it private.
You keep it private. I had somebody tell me that too. He's like, well, I know you don't have much fun. And I'm like, why?
I have a lot of fun.
Because I'm like, okay, because I'm always posting work and, related pictures. I'm like, well, yeah, you don't know what I do. I have a lot of fun.
I have so much fun. I need more sleep.
I know. Their sleep is something that we need more of. We need more,
but
there's just not enough time, because we're out here promoting your roofing business. And
but just like something like I have such a history in roofing, but all the employers that I've had in the past, they had such great presence, and me coming on board helped synergize and make us both bigger. So I each one that I evolved into, even now with Jenny, they were already a big conglomerate, but now I'm bringing myself, so we're getting bigger together. So we have all this synergy to make a difference to the community. And, we might not be everyone's contractor. Not everyone will be our customer, but for those that we do business with, we want to help out and, help in the community. So, I even tell anyone, especially being present, just get involved in your community. It's very important to
and educating and
Volunteering.
prior to this discussion, now we were talking about educating people
Yeah.
about maintaining their houses and about I don't want to say insurance fraud, but it's educating them about the ugly side of insurance and roofing, how they combine together.
Yeah, in a nutshell, there are a lot of homeowners that are uneducated, and they'll very kindly just ask, and I can advise them with the meaning. If they're asking about if things can be covered or not covered with insurance, I will let them know I can provide a report and photos. If they feel that they want to, go with the insurance route, there's a certain percentage that has to be qualified. I cannot file a claim for them. But a lot of people, now when they have this information and they get from your side, and also they understand how it works, then they can make an educated decision whether they want to or not. But most homeowners now are very mindful that with the aging of the roof, and they also with real estate transactions, they want to move forward with their transaction. But I just say that in this day and age, it's important to educate yourself on all levels, because at the end of the day, it's your home that you're protecting. And, with the lack of education, most homeowners are good. There is a percentage that end up being very malicious, very bad. We just end up not working with them, and that's okay. So, they move on. But I just always let people know that imagine everything you do is like, being watched by Big Brother. So if you do everything legit, there really is no problem. So I just feel like, the more homeowners are aware, they just make more, not only smart, but ethical decisions.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to the day when I don't have to ask somebody, how old's your roof in my business. That'll be good. But do you think, I don't know if you've seen it, because you're in the streets with the people. I'm on the phone helping people. And you're in the streets.
I'm in the streets, yeah.
Yeah, with the public about roofs and educating them. Do you think it'll get to the point that any of these insurance companies actually prosecute or file a lawsuit against a homeowner?
Well, in Texas, they actually it's an offense for a homeowner to have a deductible waived. So if that's happened in Texas, that could happen here. It's supposed to be illegal to waive the deductible, but it hasn't been instilled like in Texas. But at the same time, if your deductible is $1,000 or $2,500 and you're asking for it to be waived, that could be because you don't have the money. There are ways to finance it, so we can help with the financing. But, at the end of the day, when you ask a contractor to do that, what you're asking him is to actually cut corners to put that on. So really educate yourself where, am I doing a deal or am I disservicing myself? So I really hope that more homeowners are mindful of this.
Right. Planning. You said, planning. You have to put money aside to repair your home and keep it up and maintain it.
I mean, ever since I got into real estate, I've never seen so many, because I'm noticing it now, assessments on HOAs and now they have to redo the roof. So people are selling because they can't, a percentage are selling because they can't afford it, which is at least okay, because they're downsizing to, be more budget friendly for their real estate needs. So, but someone moving in will at least have the knowledge. They can, rectify it. Good thing about real estate, it will always in time appraise. So, HOAs aren't bad, but at the same time, you have to abide by them, and they can change the rules at any time.
Oh, I know. My HOA, my mailbox has no door. If you haven't seen it, it's had no door since 2009. And I got a letter that they want me to go to hearing because it's bent. So I did a little video. They're all bent. I want a new mailbox. I want a new mailbox. So if anybody knows, I would like somebody to come over here, because it has to be exactly the same mailbox. But they haven't given me any contacts to who to do the mailbox. So I can buy one on Home Depot. But that's what I'm saying. They're over here about the mailbox. I say we all need new mailboxes, so help me. That is, but no, just to see how the associations, we all have to maintain our houses and keep our roofs up. And
I suggest getting the HOA docs ahead of time and sitting down and reading them.
And reading it.
Please don't wing it.
Don't wing it.
Don't ask the realtor to do the work, because they can, but at the same time you might forget, and
you might forget, and you want to read it and have it in your hands yourself.
Especially the dog situation. If the dog situation is they allow them, they can easily change their mind. But if you move in and then they change it, they grandfather you
because you've already have it.
Correct. But but if you end up renting your place and they bring in their dog, That's why I left my Hernando. I'm sorry, originally from Indian Harbor Beach, and I was an HOA. It was an awful experience. It was very wishy-washy and I was actually on the board, but it was to the point where the homeowners were chipping in with their voting. We couldn't make a decision. I just didn't want to be there anymore. So it was a good timing for me to go.
So you left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sell and get out. You know?
Yeah, and then back to the dogs. There are some breeds that are like not eligible. So even if you had it, the dog, I'm imagining if you rent it, you need to vet your tenants for what type of dog they have.
You have to. Also, homeowners they have to make sure they are mindful of if they have them, to make sure they let them know. You just can't buy the house and move them in. It's no big deal. It's a huge deal.
It is a huge problem. And
you can't just sneak in that dog, you know. And also something that, you know, is not really talked about too is, you know, making sure that if people are filing claims and they end up moving, that you at least let your insurance company know that you're selling your house, because I have a roofing friend that's going through that, or it was an awful experience where they go to do the follow up on the roof, and the home sold, and they're still an active claim on it.
Oh, and that happens a lot.
And that's okay. That still can be rectified, but you just can't abandon it.
You have to tell somebody.
You have to tell somebody, the agent, and let them know you're moving.
And then they could maybe transfer the claim to be handled to the new buyer or something.
That's a whole other story that has to be rectified with the on the insurance side.
Mm-hmm.
But if the homeowner we filed a permit and we're moving forward, and now there's a permit and we got materials, somebody's got to pay for that, you know. So homeowners need to at least,
it'll hold up the closing because they have an open permit.
Correct. And so it just it throws a wrench. It's just okay if things happen. Just let them know.
Tell them what you're planning to do.
That's I'm hoping on saving someone from that real estate drama. So
I'll refer people, because I do get questions about that sometime, and I'm like, you're gonna
everything's fixable as long as you're upfront and honest. You
right.
know? Hiding because you don't know, or actually puts a wrench in it. You know.
And then you shouldn't, if you've called you're going to do their roof, you've put in paperwork, you just can't ghost them.
No.
Because it doesn't go away.
Yeah, it doesn't go away. No. If we come and knocking with that permit,
you've got it. You're on that job.
You don't want that lien on your property.
They'll put a lien. Exactly. Because they've pulled materials, they've bought stuff, and they've put you on their schedule.
Communication across the board works very well,
because they're like,
everything's fixable. It's really
that's what I always say.
Fixable.
It's fixable.
Yeah,
it's money. We can fix it.
We all can get along. It'll be great.
So I have one last question for you. So since I deal with insurance, I get a lot of clients that call and they're like, oh, the home inspector came on here. I pulled a gun on him. I pulled a knife. Has anybody ever been violent with you when you were going to a property, either to do a real estate transaction, a roofing inspection, or anything like that?
On the violence side for real estate, I avoided that recently. In a nutshell, the homeowner just changed his mind about the listing, won't sign the paperwork to take it off the MLS. And he basically gave the lockbox back, and he said, I'm going to fix up my house so it could sell for $1 million. And it just could have been avoided just with communication, with the ghosting. I have realtors looking to look at the property. It could have gotten violent if I had like opened the gate to talk to him, because, sometimes you will not lapse in judgment, but like you might miss something because, you assume, but that's my problem. I can't assume that everyone's on the same page as me,
Yeah, so, mentally. Mm-hmm.
So but usually the warning signs are the ghosting, and when there's no communication, whether real estate or roofing, you might have to divorce that client, because it's going to be a pain in your side if they won't communicate with you, especially if you have whether it be realtors looking to look at your property, or we have production looking to come and you won't communicate. You might as well just pack it up and get out. Give them back their money, cancel. Kindly, because it really can be a problem. On the roofing side, we've actually had, people we've called to communicate, and materials are dropped off, and they threatened, this is my former employer, they threatened to, sue because we put the materials on the driveway. Then we had that discussion in the beginning, but then they changed their mind. So again, communication, there's so many more stories, but so far I haven't had the gun, but I know that sometimes when someone's maybe with mental issues and they're in the home and we're doing the roof, they can freak out. So we need to, know that. So we're not coming when that person's home, or, that's should be communicated, because nobody wants to get hurt.
No. Exactly.
Nobody.
If they're just the roofers and you all are there
Correct.
just to do your job.
We just want to do our job,
Yes.
do good, and get you a roof and move on to the next one.
No violence.
Give
No
it-
violence needed.
No violence needed. No, we can hug it out.
Mhm, exactly.
Yeah.
So where can we find you online, and your contact information, all your social media tags,
If
et cetera?
you recently, hopefully this week, when you Google Aggi, Aggi Hall, I'll be Google verified finally. It's taken a while. But you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And if you look up Aggi Hall, I will come up. Godmother Roofing, Godmother Real Estate. And LinkedIn's my big tool right now that I've been really proactive on. So I'm very heavy with the insurance advocacy forum. So you'll see me on the LinkedIn side there.
Oh. So thank you so much for listening. If you haven't subscribed, please do like and share. It helps us so much. Currently, we are planning episodes every other week. So if you would tune in, and if you would like to join us, please reach out. We will update them on our socials, Secured Insurance Group, and Instagram is Colleen Insurance Lady 22. The podcast was hosted by myself, Miss Colleen, and it was recorded and produced by Sean Spazzato, the executive producer. Our cover art was produced by Norma Pacheco, and the intro music is by Lounge Bar for Geuronic. Goodbye, and thanks again.